You have a group of unfortunate people who prepared a table of humiliation for you because they wanted to serve you up a nice big fat dose of some humble pie. Whoever these people are, their insecurities are now coming to the surface because you really bother these people. They feel like you think you're perfect. They feel like you've not gone through enough and you don't look like what you've gone through. These people, unfortunately, have set themselves up to fail yet again, but they keep trying, okay? Nothing beats a fail but a try. And so, what happens when somebody keeps failing at trying to make you be humble? I kept hearing, you need to humble yourself. Like, these people feel like they're dealing with a case of pride in you, but really it's their insecurities, okay? They're mistaking your confidence for what you have accomplished in your life, internally, externally, on all realms, physical, spiritual, intentionally. They mistake that for cockiness and arrogance. This is another huge mistake because what we're seeing with these people is that they're going to spend all their money if they haven't spent all their money yet. Somebody's even calculating the amount of money that they have spent trying to stop you. And every time they see you go up a notch. The universe is laughing at them. They broke spiritual law. They broke universal law. At this point, they're simply fighting with the divine. I don't know anybody that's ever gone up against divine providence and they've won a battle. At this level, the stakes are high, but everybody's got beef. Everybody's got beef with your accolades and your accomplishments, right? It's a huge mistake. Let's get into it. Welcome to Spiritual Core TV, 24/7, 365. Big shout out to everybody that supports this platform genuinely. If you're new, come on in. We love to have you. Welcome. If you're returning back, welcome back, Soul Tribe. Let's see what's going on. This is one of those readings that I had to prepare for. So I just came up out of like a 3 hour prayer, y'all. Sometimes, you got to get down with it. You got to have a real conversation with the divine about it. These are people that want to steal from you. They don't like you. They feel like you need to be humbled. But what they want to steal is your peace and your joy. And your peace and your joy is connected to the divine. Therefore, is protected. Again, these people are basically trying to go up against the divine. That's really what this is. Now, they won't see it that way because these are people that feel as though they're designated to try the spirit. They feel like it's their right to try you. And so they're projecting also they're projecting and deflecting their own insecurities. Spirit says there's so much light around you that their energy is just simply revealing to them who they really are. And they don't like that much. These are people that need to find somebody to blame. They don't really want to see that they are the problem. And that's okay. Spirit says, let them. I said, Spirit, what should we do in this energy? Spirit's like, let them. This is somebody that literally wants to be you. And they're paying to be you. They really are. It's not a good investment. When you're paying to go to a practitioner saying, I want her intellect, I want her this, I want her this, I want their that, you are literally digging a ditch, I promise you, that's going to take you down a rabbit hole. I promise you, GPS will not be able to locate people like this because their energetic signature gets lost in translation because it's false. It's not divine. It's not connected to authenticity. This is somebody that hates you at the same time, but they really want to be you. They just want what you have. They feel like I can do a better job with your gifts than you can. You're full of pride. You're full of ego. But these are projections mixed with lies and illusions. So somebody's paying to be lied to, basically. Because what practitioner is taking your money at this level? Telling you that you get to be collective? Oh, you don't know the work that goes into that. That's crazy. They think you're arrogant. They think you're stuck up. But really, in real truth, you're somebody that the Most High God has chosen to be a role model. You're a leader. What are you leading people to, though? You're leading people to leadership. Real divine leaders want other people to be leaders. Leaders of what? Leaders of their own lives. controllers of your own mind, controller of your own hearts. And this is what's really pissing a lot of these witches off, because their businesses are suffering, right? When you see somebody that is a role model and they're encouraging self improvement, that means that people stop going to witches. Maybe they're not getting readings as often as they once were. Maybe they're creating their own oils and their own bath kits and their own whatever. This is what it's supposed to be. So these witches are really pissed off because they kind of want you to awaken. You know, these are the ones that are false illusions of light. They kind of want you to awaken, but not too much, because then you'll stop coming to their business, you'll stop buying their products, and they don't like that. So instead of admitting that something needs to change within their spiritual dynamic, they go after the truth speaker, because if we can knock him off and knock her off, then everybody will come to us. But we need this person to be the bad guy. Some of these people want you to go in a loop, but you created the loop. But what happens when the loop doesn't exist? Where exactly are they returning you to? Where is it that they feel they have the right to inject themselves into your life to teach you a lesson, when the Most High God is saying, my hand is over this person's life. You cannot touch this chosen one. You cannot take what belongs to them. You were not there when they were doing the work. You hate them, but you want what they have. At some point, something has to make sense. I feel like somebody doesn't know how to choose the lesser of two evils, because they're just evil, honey. Ain't no good in them. Yeah, let's get into it. Holy Spirit, what's going on? Let's see. Now somebody's sitting up, sitting in bed, looking crazy, trying to get over a death spell. Let me just tell you something. Whatever level of magic this is, it's not cheap. It's not cheap. And this is how you know that money doesn't make you happy. Somebody's got the money. They have the income. They can pay for top shelf magic. They can afford more than one practitioner, and they're wasting their money. Just imagine being wealthy and empty at the same time. You done bought everything you want to buy. You done no, but you can't buy that divine. And the one thing that you want is the spark from somebody else that doesn't have as much as you. You're trying to buy somebody's joy. You want to siphon their spirit. You want whatever this is that they have, but first you have to make them look like the bad guy. And you're finding it difficult because the chosen one has so much light around them. The chosen one is flowing so good like water that all this person can see is a reflection of their diabolicalness. This is what is projecting back to them. They don't like that. Okay, played in that death magic. Somebody was playing in some nasty work, y'all. I mean, nasty work, like out of the country type work, okay? This is somebody that's fake and phony. This is a fake supporter, okay? You see through this person, though. And they're scared because you see through them. They don't like that because this proves that you're perfect. Well, it's not that you're perfect, but universal law and spiritual law is something that you're in alignment with, and the law is perfect. One has to be proven and tested by the spiritual law. And these people are breaking the law, but they don't want nobody to know. Somebody tried to attach their nasty, sick ass, toxic cords to you. This person now needs your energy to stay alive. They wanted your energy to thrive more. Okay. Somebody has an ample amount of money. Somebody could have more than you, but they have no peace, no joy, because why else would they be petitioning a practitioner to do spell work over you, to block you, stop you? Somebody wants to flip your chariot over. Somebody wants to block you because every time they do spell work, you seem to go up 10 notches by way of spiritual ranking. But this is because the Most High God is the one that really has the real divine spiritual flex. You ever seen the Most High God flex? Big flex energy. Okay, clarify Most High. I cannot make it up. Somebody's scared. They're like, oh, you can see me? Yeah, this story belongs to you, you little nasty bastard ass witch. Somebody's like, hey, how you doing? We know you can't get through. Don't leave your name and your number. We'll never get back to you and this sickness and disease and whatever you got going on, whatever you paid for and conjured up. Oh, my God. I want to say that you deserve mercy and grace, but I don't even know how to say that to somebody that has nothing that represents the divine in them. Everybody's born with some type of divine spark or a kind reminder to remember who they are, to return back to source. This is somebody that compromised their divine spark for cash and prizes. And so the devil delivered. Somebody's got money. They really do. But they're lonely, they're sad, and they do spell work out of boredom. They don't have nothing else to do. And they don't like the fact that whatever you have, collective, is not for sale. Whatever that peace and that joy is, that love that you have for life, it's not for sale and they can't buy it. And this is really what's eating them up. You transmuted this energy lickety split. That's what I just heard. Do they still say lickety split? You transmuted the energy lickety split like that. It was done and you're still coming up as the chosen one, a Sigma energy. Okay, remember, this is a copycat that wants to be in your position. Somebody is really doing everything that they possibly can, yeah, to try to like project out this love energy, but they're paying for like spell work. Okay, this could be somebody I just heard that does the same thing as you. This could be somebody that does the same. Yeah, they're really angry. Somebody does the same thing as you. Okay, so this could be a workplace situation. Okay, fake support, fake whatever, it doesn't matter. You have the divine walking with you. There's nothing that could come up against us. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Intention to harm. Somebody walks around in a spirit of fear and then they project that out and they're mad because you entrust your entire life to the divine. That's what I just heard. Yeah, this is chaos magic. So somebody wants to disrupt your peace. Okay, that's really what it is. They want to separate you from the love of the divine. Yeah, projecting out fear. I love it when the truth comes out before the cards. Clarify projecting out fear. Somebody's projecting out fear. LGBTQIA could be significant. Okay, clarify what's going on. Yeah, contentment. Listen, somebody wants to literally disrupt your contentment, your peace. But look at the way you are glowing. Look at all the love around you. So when somebody's projecting this level of chaos, what they see is themselves. And what they end up seeing is just how unwell they are. Because your light becomes a reflection. It deflects things that are not in alignment with you. 12:33 on the timer, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the timer. Something's in divine order for you, and somebody just does not like that. Their life is unsettled. Their life is in distress. They have what they want. Maybe they have enough to take care of themselves. This could be several people too that are watching you that feel like you need to eat some humble pie. So they prepared a table for you in the presence of your enemies on the external. You didn't show up because you were hanging out with kindred souls who have healed just like you, because this is your level of control. This is your level of what you deserve. That's what I just heard. Somebody sits up and monitors you all day. Oh man, they should do something else with that money. Like, dang, you could have gave me that money. You know what I could have done with the amount of money that these people pay for spell work? We could have built low income houses. We could have helped the homeless. Somebody has money and they're unhappy. Okay, that's not our fault. Whatever they did to get it, they're playing mind games and now their mind is all scrambled up. They don't really know what's going on. Whatever they did and however they got their success is something that forced them to compromise their connection to source. And this is where they messed up. The devil will deliver. The devil does answer prayers. The devil will give you money, sex, drugs, all of that, whatever you need, whatever your desires are, you know. But when you compromise, if just for a moment, temporarily, or for however long the Most High God wants you to, when you compromise your desires, and you make sacrifices by way of offering yourself up as somebody that is worthy, and the Most High God strips you down, there's nobody else that can prepare a humble pie for you. Only the divine can humble us. We are only humble in the presence of the divine because we're in gratitude and grateful for every breath, for every blink of the eye, for every wiggle of the toe, for every just being happy for every single thing within the physical body and on the external. It's only the divine that can bring any level of humbling. And Spirit says, I'm about to show them who's the best humbler. They prepared a table for you in the presence of your enemies, but you don't have no enemies. Your enemy is in this adaptability. You've changed. You've ascended. You really are sweet and compassionate. This is your real energy. And people are really bothered by that because they don't know how to get it. They can't go buy it. No, you have to be willing to lose everything in order to gain what it is that you want. Spirit gives you what you need sometimes when you reevaluate your desires and your wants, right? Somebody wanted what they wanted and they got what they wanted, and now they're sitting up just as empty as can be, but with sickness and disease and infectious and toxic, whatever this is going on, this energy can't come towards us. That's what I just heard. These people want to disrupt your peace. So let's just say you love your life. You wake up, you happy. Do, 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 do. You know, the sun comes up. You're like, oh my God, the sun came up. I'm so glad I get to see the sun again. These are things that people take for granted, especially people like this. They take for granted that they will get a chance to see a sunset. They take for granted that they will get a chance to feel the wind on their face. They take for granted that they get to see the sun come up. These are ingrateful people, ingrates. They're ungrateful to the divine. And so when they see somebody that is really connected to source, like everything in your life has to be surrendered to the Most High God. Everything, everything. The flowers, the candles, this, the desk, the house, all of it belongs to Source. Therefore, anybody that tries to come up against my divine stability, my divine house, my divine relationship has to adhere to universal law by way of the divine wrath, because you're basically stealing from the divine. When the divine marks his chosen ones, he says, these are my ones. Don't touch them. Again, people want to rewrite the spiritual laws. They want to amend it. So now the laws have been amended in a universal way at a cosmic level, and these people will not get the memo. Why? Because they're not interested in respecting spiritual law. Otherwise, they wouldn't be peeking over in your yard to try to figure out what you got going on. Like, your grass is this tall, and you trying to pay attention to how we're doing what we're doing over here. This is somebody that sits up in a very critical energy. Somebody metaphysically could have like arthritis or back pain and neck pain. Usually regret, resentment, negativity, animosity, it starts to affect the physical body, which is probably why somebody is sick. Everything that is a physical ailment stems from some type of violation of spiritual or universal law. I know that to be a fact. I've seen that happen in the spiritual connections that I've had. I've seen people who are very, very angry, resentful, jealous. Again, why are they angry? Because their practitioners have failed them. They're spending a lot of money. They don't want to look at the situation for what it is. They're too busy trying to buy your peace. Somebody's literally going to a practitioner saying, I want this person's beauty. But see, what they think is beauty is only skin deep. It's just skin deep. It's just aesthetics. That's all it is. But the beauty comes from within. And that divine spark is not for sale. It can't be stolen. They can't buy it, right? Clarify this person. This person is shocked that we see them. Now they're running scared. I'm telling you, running to and fro. Could be hopping around, could be, trying to go to a different location to get away from that energy. But the thing about creator, source creator controls everything in the earth. Where exactly are you running to that you think that the divine is not going to see you? Yeah, you messed up. You know you messed up. Somebody could have involved their siblings, okay? Somebody's having issues with their family, victim, sorrow, grief, and sadness. Somebody's still blaming their mother. Somebody's still mad at the people at church and all of this and whatever. Somebody is really like overly sexual too. Okay. I feel like this is an illusion. I feel like this person presents a very beautiful aesthetic. They may have a really nice body, a very pretty face, whatever you deem beauty to be on a physical level. Maybe they make their face up real pretty, or maybe they dress real nice, but internally this person is sick because they're not connected to source. Everything that their cords are connected to are temporary satisfactions, false illusions of light. They never really gain. Once you get locked in with a practitioner to pay for spell work, or you don't know how to spiritually protect yourself, some of these people, they cloak their intentions in paying for protection. So they'll go to practitioners and say, this person is attacking me after they did the spell work and it backfired though, right? And I need you to do some spiritual protection on me. So then the practitioner involves their energy protecting them and shielding them from their karma. But when the Most High God is involved, everybody has to stand still. It's a standstill situation. They're all being laid out. Yeah, they're mad about your intuition. Somebody cannot stand how on point you are, okay? And how you're exposing that ass every step of the way. Their words hold no weight. They try it. They try. They're talking real loud. You ever seen somebody barking the loudest and they're the most guiltiest one in the room? You know, if you've ever seen somebody defend themselves, up against their own illusions, they'll scream, they'll holler, they'll throw a tantrum. That's usually a red flag, in my opinion. Their body language tells on them. They cross their arms, not because they're protecting their energy. They just don't want you to see into them. But when you're a true intuitive, you can read into somebody's soul. You can see their soul. So nothing that this person does can be hidden. And spirit could be telling you just to kind of fall back and let the universe balance this out. But I feel like the universe has already balanced it out. And now somebody's just stuck in a loop, making bad decisions. And they're being reminded of that. Okay. Running, escaping, whatever this is. Okay. They're running around. Somebody's really promiscuous. This could be a group of people, actually. But there's one person in particular. This person has a large following, too. Clarify? And now they're scared. Okay. Now they're scared. They're faking, they're phony. This is how they show up. Okay. So whatever you do, if you're in a workplace situation, this is the first one to say, good morning. It's this person. Okay. Something about keeping your enemies close. Okay. And your friends closer, your enemies closer, and your friends close. Whatever it is, somebody is a fake supporter. Okay. Show me this person. False illusions of ascension. It's like right when they think they've knocked you down, they sit up and they wait to see what it's going to look like on a physical level. And this person sits up with the gas face, you know, if they're watching you, if they're scrying or whatever they're doing, they're sitting up with their face all frowned up. Somebody is aging overnight because of anger and bitterness. You know, the thing about shape shifting, the laws have changed, okay? Because the law of authenticity supersedes shape shifting. Shape shift for what? Just show up as you are. If you're mad, be mad. If you're happy, be happy. But most people in this energy, because they've been through so much hell, they're choosing joy and they're protecting their peace. So they're like, dang, you always happy. Like, no matter what, hey, I do my best. Hey, because I know that spiritual law is perfect. I know that the creator is perfect. And that's where I'm striving to ascend to. Everybody should be ascending to that capacity. Source don't miss. I heard somebody say men lie, women lie, but spirit don't lie. Yeah, which spirit you talking about though? See, you got to start asking the specifics, especially for people that feel as though they're holding a certain authority. Start questioning these people. Spirit said, which spirit you talking about? Because some of y'all talking to some low vibrational ass spirits. Okay. Yeah, look, they want your spiritual gifts. They want your spiritual gifts. They want your intuition. They want your crown. This is something that's not for sale. The crown can only come from the highest of heights. It only comes from the creator. No demon, no practitioner, nobody can. They're just buying illusions, y'all. This is what their money is paying for. They can't take nobody's spiritual gifts. Unless you open up the door to them, unless you have things within you that are still needing to be resolved. Because remember, the enemy searches for your blind spots, your weakness, okay? But because you have no fear, for I've given you a spirit of sound mindedness, awareness, intuition. Most High God says, I've given you everything that you need. You need not look on the external, simply go within. Once you've eliminated fear, whom shall I fear if the Most High God is walking with me? Once you eliminate fear, the devil will show up at your door and be like, oh shit, I can't attack this person. Now you got the devil running because your connection to source is what brings you peace. Everything else is just a perk. You know, the things that make you comfortable in life. But your first and top priority is that of peace. Peace is really the real currency. Peace is really the gift. And when you have somebody that is so dedicated to trying to stop your peace, they then lose sight of what it is that they're supposed to do. Hence the fact that you are not the antidote to this sickness. This is a sickness that somebody is committed to. This is something that they have to live out. This is fate. Some things can be changed. Sometimes you can go to a good spiritual practitioner and they will warn you of certain things when it comes to diet, the way you think. They'll tell you, hey, your ancestors are saying you need to release the past. You need to release this ex. You need to do a cord cutting. They'll give you good advice. When you find somebody that's an honest spiritual practitioner, 9 times out of 10, they've been through a lot. So their level of humility is to the divine to be honest and true. But if you should so happen to not take that advice, you now have to succumb to the same energies that you refuse to be healed of. And the only way to be divinely healed is not attacking the chosen one. The only way to be divinely healed is seeking out a real relationship with Creator. That is the only way. There's no other way. I wish there was another way. I wish it was about sacrificing a chicken or a rooster. I see somebody sacrificing a black rooster over somebody's picture to put them in a loop. Oh, that's sad. This person's really going to feel it. And you know what's so unfortunate? Something about binding of the finances, okay? I'm picking up on two energies, okay? Could be two karmic feminines here. There's also a karmic masculine who's same sex who does not like a feminine. This person wants your femininity, okay? There's also somebody here that wants to, okay, Spirit is saying say less. Okay, so say less because the law is being amended based on whatever this is. See, when they make these mistakes, what the universe does is the universe is like, okay, you're trying to find a way around spiritual law, universal law. So these are the reasons for the amendments. They need to know that the law of authenticity is what's happening here. So shape shifting is very difficult. Going into the dark for no reason, channeling hate and anger towards somebody that's not messing with you, it's not making sense. The lesser of two evils, when you just evil, doesn't make sense, right? And so Spirit is saying this is being handled by the highest of heavens. That means some supernatural stuff is about to pop off, okay? Guilt, remorse, and regret, this is an illusion, okay? This is something that they should have dealt with before they sought out a practitioner to do spell work over somebody that they're jealous of. It's not that it's not that they are, how do you say, in any type of position of authority. That's what I just heard. This is what Creator is saying. They're not in a position of authority to say what can and what won't happen in your life. These people have no power over the divine collective, but they want to dominate your destiny. They want to dominate your crown. They want to dominate your gift because these are people that spiritually you have surpassed. For their lack and their inability to listen to their inner selves or stifling or smothering their inner selves, everybody has a higher self that's a good version of them. They refuse to really look for that. Instead, somebody feels as though life would be very satisfying if they could just take people out for the fun of it. And it doesn't work that way. The law of authenticity pulls everything out of the dark into the light. The monitoring spirit is even been inverted. So now somebody feels as though they're being watched and they're in this like fear energy. This is all their energy. This is Creator doing this. So if they're watching and they want to know, well, what's going on? How's this happening? It's the Creator doing it. Creator smote that mind, scrambled those brains up, left them in confusion, honey. And I promise you, they're going to go to the practitioner and ask for some type of protection. And the practitioner is going to be in confusion about what's going on. I can't make this up. Somebody doesn't have enough strength in their physical body, in their spiritual body, in their spiritual vessel to project any of this onto you because they really want to toss it onto you so that you wear it instead of them. Somebody has run out of a lot of whatever it was that they needed in order to live their life. And you're going into a union, okay? This really pisses this person off. Clarify this person. Yeah, they're wearing a mask and their mask is coming off. They're looking like the dirty ass, nasty ass witch that they are. Spirit says in that order. They want you to give a damn, okay? This is somebody that is very much in competition with you. Again, these people feel like you need to eat your humble pie. Clarify eating humble pie. Yeah, you mastered unconditional love. You don't have to humiliate yourself and humble yourself to not one human being on this planet. We are humbled by spiritual law. We are humbled by universal law. You can be humbled by the divine, or you could be humiliated by spiritual law when you break the rules. Your mask is going to fall off. You can't even put that mask back on no more. Somebody could literally be wearing a mask for real. Somebody could be putting on a lot of makeup to try to make up for the insecurities that are going on within them, which is really depression and sadness. At some point, you got to deal with your inner man. You got to deal with your spirit. Don't abandon yourself. Your Ori. Clarify? Okay. So something about you being very attractive, divine masculine, something about fortune coming in. So something about unconditional love. So these people are saying that you need to be humble. You need to be sat down in the presence of your enemies by way of like vulture energy. This is what I'm saying. Like somebody wants you to be devoured by people. Okay. So they want you to experience some type of hardship, but that cycle is done. You've already ascended, collective. Just continue to stay in your peace, protect your peace, continue with these relationships with your spirit team and this main relationship with the divine, and there's nothing that can come up against you. What you're going to see is a trail of people that jumped up literally only to get laid out and beat down by the divine. So you got a main male here, okay? Somebody's looking really good. Somebody's taking care of their health. And they said you have to be humbled, okay? So spiritual court is showing that you've mastered unconditional love. These people can't find no wounds in you. They really want to attach these nasty cords to you. They're like, oh, you're just perfect. It's the creator that's perfect, though. And when you co-create with the creator of all creation, hey, everything goes good. That's all I could say. Shouldn't that be the way? Shouldn't this be the way that we have an existence on this earth? Why can't every day be a good day? Why does there really have to be any of this? And whatever that is over there that's toxic, it has to stay there. Spirit says they have to figure this out without any type of divine intervention or divine guidance. Why? Because when they went to do this against a chosen one, they forfeited their divine spark. They basically told the divine that they didn't want their higher selves. So how are we to beg people to be the best versions of themselves when they're too busy seeking to devour somebody that cannot be devoured? Yeah, how many times you got to tell them? Maybe they want to irritate you up out of this peace, but it's just not going to happen. Whatever you had to go through to this level, divine chosen one, to get to this level of peace, you've learned some really good lessons and you've done your homework. So just imagine somebody spending money and then you turn around and you get this windfall of money and God is just like, okay, here you go. And you're just like, oh my God. I was happy with the $5 that I had because I love you so much, divine. Your presence is something that cannot be bought. When you feel the Holy Spirit come over you, you cannot go buy that. You can't find it in stores. You can't get it 50% off. Somebody wanted the 5-finger discount. Somebody was trying to come in and backdoor that crown and snatch it up and snatch your ideas and snatch your this and disrupt your peace and just make you feel away. And the whole while, it just could not happen. When you get to this level, you have slayed so many devils, consciously and unconsciously. You have mastered levels of yourself that can't be unmastered. Remastering mastery, 3333, only to become a better master. That's what this person is doing. And I don't even know if they know that paying for spell work is doing this for you. Clarify? You got another little fake ass person. These little witches are linking up. These are supposed to be the biggest, baddest witches. Somebody could be in their 30s. Mm-hmm. They're in cahoots in the dark realm. Maybe they're like, oh, this person needs to. Oh, they think that they're just. Oh, they just think that how dare they be all love and light and oh my God, just they can't even shapeshift into happiness no more. Somebody is married to somebody and this man is like their shield. Stupid. Somebody's bound to somebody in marriage. Clarify. Somebody's in the bed with a witch who has intention to harm people, and the man is a good guy, and he's the one that shields her from her karma. I can see that. This person's under severe judgment, intention to harm. I saw this person in a dream state. Show me this person. Somebody could have blonde hair, or they switch their hair color up. Yeah. I saw her. She was to the left of me. Spirit says the reason that she was to the left of me is because she wanted to be in alignment with my heart chakra. And in the dream, y'all, I was so doggone happy. I could feel the Holy Spirit around me in the dream, child. It was so amazing. And we were in some supernatural realm, and I was about to go up a level. And whatever her level of expertise is, that's as far as her level can go. So a lot of these dark witches, that's as far as their expertise can go, right? And so they know once you surpass them, they really can't do anything to you, because that means that you have mastered something within your shadow that they can't use your shadow. So instead of just allowing you to pass by them or ascend beyond them, they feel like we're going to put you back in the loop. So they want to flip your chariot over. They want to flip over your 2 of wands, your 3 of wands. They want to get in the way of what the divine has for you. And in the dream state, y'all, I was so happy. It was like I was receiving something. And to the right of me was like all these supernatural high priestesses and divine beings. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going over here with them. I was so excited. Well, I had that dream about 8 months ago, right? Fast forward, and the person, this witch that was to my left, she ended up disappearing for a little while, right? Where she went, nobody knows. Maybe she was trying to alchemize the energy. And so I was receiving something, but she had this look in her eyes of kind of like, you know how you say clear, like somebody's mind was clear. I really couldn't read her energy, but I feel like it's because she was exempt of source. It was like an empty vessel, just somebody that has mastered shape shifting, but now they can't shape shift no more. And she had to show me her hand. She could represent a whole bunch of witches, possibly in a workplace situation. Either way, she thought that I was a source. She thought, well, if you're passing this level, then us witches can just kind of tag along. It's going to help all of us. These are vultures. They have to do their own work. Yes, we're here together collectively to do a beautiful body of work as guided by the Creator, but individually, you have to do your work. I can't give anybody unconditional love for their inner child. I can encourage them. I can give them some tips, but at the end of the day, their recipe is going to be their recipe. One has to rescue their inner child, or whatever version of yourself at any level of yourself you need to save. Some people need to save their adult selves, but the adult self always resonates with the inner child. Yeah, so I saw her. I was like, girl, that's crazy. Yeah, she's a severe narcissist. This is a dark empath. But the great part about this is she's losing her gifts. Okay. So she won't be able to abuse anybody anymore. Okay. Non-committal energy, whatever this energy is. So the great part about it is this person led some type of witchy crusade. Okay, to get other witches to tag along, because a lot of them in their bloodline have never surpassed a certain level. They've been in loops for all their lifetimes. They've reincarnated, they forgot, got in a loop, went in the dark side, abused their power, whatever. These are competitions. These are people that are competing where they don't compare. Okay. So she kind of wanted to tag along, right? And so I felt like she represented a group of dark witches that I like to consider them dark empaths. Okay. Somebody was told to get rid of their altar and they don't want to get rid of it. Okay. Something about your empowerment. It's like they hate to love you, but love to hate you, but they feel as though they can dominate you and tag along and mirror your efforts so that they too get some type of gift from the universe. It doesn't work like that. You really do have to do the work. Is it going to be easy? Well, it can be if you surrender to source. Is it going to be easy doing the work? Yeah, it should be. Creator wants life to be easy for you. Creator doesn't want things to be hard. Creator wants you to experience Creator for yourself. So whenever you were abandoned or isolated to figure out things by yourself, that honestly was the best gift that the universe could give you, because this puts you in position in alignment to speak directly to source. No middleman. Creator says, I want you to know that it's me that's doing this. I want you to know that it's me that is guiding you so that you don't put anything above me. Somebody was told to get rid of their altars, okay? And they don't want to. Or dolls or whatever they got going on. Clarify this person. They signed a contract and a commitment with the spirit, so they have to let this play out, which means that they have to continue to do this work, whatever the terms and conditions were. Okay. In this demonic contract, they have to fulfill this contract. Now, what happens when you don't have any karmic debt? That means you've satisfied your contracts. You applied it to the seven heavenly virtues. You forgave, you released, you surrendered, you let it go. You're not vindictive. You're not attacking anybody. You're just simply being obedient, receiving peace as a gift from the divine, because peace is something that can't be bought. I don't care if you're in a 1 bedroom apartment, living in your car. Peace surpasses all understanding. It is the highest value, which is why so many people want to take your energy, and this energy cannot be stolen. With it comes ramifications. There's a security system set up on this piece. If you try to tap into it, you're going to end up like Uckham and Bookham over here. Sickness, disease, sadness, grief, fear, all of this. Why? Because they want to say that you are doing something to them. That's a form of delirium. But in reality, the universe is reflecting onto them or projecting back to them with accuracy who they are. And when they see themselves, this is what they look like. And they don't like that, because that means that they have to take this mask off in the presence of themselves. They have to see themselves for what it is. Now, seeing yourself shouldn't be a scary thing. If you're doing the right thing, why are you so scared to see yourself? And so I feel like whoever you are, chosen one, people take your life to heart. They take the way you show up to heart. But really, deep down inside, their inner child is begging for them to heal. Their inner child is like, man, if you don't just go ahead and heal. And at some point, they don't hear their higher self. At some point, they disconnect from the best parts of them that could have been beautiful, because they've gone into this deep-seated, wound. Somebody signed a contract. Somebody is stuck on the contract. Whatever they signed with this spirit, they're stuck to this spirit. Somebody has to keep feeding this spirit. Somebody could be a voodoo mambo priestess, initiated. Yeah. This person, whoever initiated this mambo voodoo priestess, the women that you think you're working with, if this witch is watching, she's probably not. She could be hearing this in the spirit realm. Doesn't matter. She'll get the message. Most High God says, I'm going to hand deliver this message to her. Just a heads up, those priestess that they're working with, these voodoo priestess that are doing the rituals, the chickens, they're offering things to Ogun and all of that, they're working the hell out of you. They're taking your money because they see you as weak. Constantly doing rituals like this has nothing to do with ancestors and feeding the earth. I'm not here to disrespect voodoo, because I got good voodoo roots. The voodoo Loa, they like me. They fool with me. Baran Samedi, Baran, me and Baran are good. Madame Brigitte, we're good. Marie Laveau, we are good in the spirit. They know what it is. They know what it was. They brought justice. They bring justice. It's balanced and it's fair. But somebody is working with practitioners and they feel like they're an initiate, and they're not. Spirit just says this person's at the bottom of the totem pole. It's like being in a coven thinking that you're a part of the group, but really you're the target. They're just using this person. They got this person to forfeit their destiny and bind them to some type of spiritual contract. Okay? Clarify? Yeah, this person is a trickster energy. They want nothing more but for you to be provoked into doing some type of spell work so that you become a part of this agreement. But because you've surrendered everything to source, you need not respond to this nasty energy. You already know. Yeah, didn't I tell you somebody got blonde hair? This person's fake. They're phony. They're an impersonator. Okay, that is a form of magic. They don't want you to know what it is that they got going on, but they really want something that belongs to you. They want your spiritual gifts. Somebody works with a whole bunch of spirits, y'all. This is the kind of person that, real spiritual practitioners on a high level, they need not speak of their connections to the spirit world. Just like I just spoke about Baran Semedi and Madame Brigitte, in no way am I boasting about the favor in the spirit realm, but it's the divine that I give reverence to over all gods. 4422 on the timer, and you got a partnership coming in. So they're really pissed off about that. When you get with your divine person or just people that are divinely guided like you, oh man, It's going to be interesting. 4433 on the timer. But I'm not boasting about the favor that I've gained in those areas. In no way, shape, or form am I doing that, because it's only by God's grace. That's it. So when you seek something at the highest level, that's like if you go into a store and you have a complaint and you're like, I'd like to speak to the manager. And then you talk to the manager and the manager's like, well, there's nothing I can do. This is just what it is. And you feel as though you have a sufficient complaint as a customer, right? And you're like, okay, well, I need to speak to your supervisor. Oh, the supervisor's not available. Well, give me the number to the corporate office. I want to talk to the founders of this company so that they know that they have people in their establishment that are representing this company this way. And I feel as though the customer service was not that good. And I'm giving you an extreme circumstance, collective, just to paint the narrative. See it as Pictionary, right? It's just an example. But when you go above people's heads, and the trickle down effect is people getting eliminated. These are people that had a little position amongst an organization or whatever they want to have by way of delusions of grandeur, and you get a judgment from the highest God. You went to the above all the rest. While somebody's sitting up trying to figure out whether or not they're going to offer something to Ogun or Oshun or Yemaya. Somebody is going, you went above, you went towards Olodumare. You called out to Cristo Olofi, the creator that created everything in creation. I just heard Baba Luaye. Listen, these people need to really back down. They're being told to sit down. And sometimes people get real comfortable in their spiritual practice that they feel like they don't want to change, that if they change what it is that they're doing, that somehow that's somebody like being a dictator in their life or controlling them. No, there are some things that you have to let go of in order to go to the next level. Or you will suffer the consequences for being disobedient, because when you're disobedient to things that need to change, you're only starving out your inner child and your higher self. Nobody else is doing that. And whoever these people are that has this person bound in this contract, this person is stuck. Something about finances, love, spiritual, energetic. So somebody feels like you don't deserve love. You don't deserve to have this star. It's not their position. These are not our gods. This is the problem. Too many people want to control other damn people. Instead of controlling themselves, control your impulses, control your bowels. Control what you got going on in your life. Focus in on the Most High God. Somebody's tossing and turning over the fact that their spell work is just not working on you. But guess what? They're bound to this contract. So the people that they're working with are convincing them to do it again. The more they do the spell work, the deeper in the karma they get. They want to clear it out, clarify. Somebody is a security guard at a certain level. Somebody could be a gatekeeper. Somebody could be a child of Eshu or Elewa. This could be their lineage. I'm channeling a lot of Ifa energy and voodoo, mostly voodoo, mixed with a little bit of Christianity, traditional Christianity. The one where they read certain scriptures out of the Bible to dominate and control people. The scripture about the masters and the slaves. So somebody feels as though they're a master and they want other people to be their slaves instead of everybody being a master. Can we not have a world where everybody has mastered themselves enough that we tap into happiness and contentment and gratitude? Absolutely. That's what's happening. And this is really what's throwing off this lack of what is this called? Ebb and flow. Thank you, Spirit. Somebody's going against the current. Somebody's going against the grain. You ever seen somebody go against the grain? It's crazy. The only time you should go against the grain is when you're shredding cheese from a block of cheese. You ever seen a surfer trying to go against the current? No, you have to go in the direction. First of all, you got to know the wind direction. Okay? The fortunes, the tides of fortunes and good things happening, the way the wind blows. Somebody's wind direction is off. Somebody can't catch their breath because they're running from stuff, locked into a dark contract, running to the practitioner. And the practitioner got them in an illusion, having them think that whatever this is, it's going to manifest at some point. No, trying to trick you and they got trapped. Damn. Somebody's about to find out. There's nothing that they can do. Again, these are people that are being told by practitioners, okay, we just need to make an offering to Ochosi. Okay, we're going to do the sacrifice tonight. We're going to need 2 goats, 2 roosters. That's going to be another $11,000. What? Yeah, I just gave you 15,000. Okay, well, how bad do you want this to happen? These people are leading this person to the slaughter. Eventually, there has to be a sacrifice. And if you keep paying for spell work, 9 times out of 10, the person paying for spell work will be the sacrifice. That's the one they really start working because they already know the spirit realm has chimed in. Source has chimed in. And those little rituals, those little chants, they calling out. Somebody could be calling out to Kalima. Clarify, you calling out to Kalima. Yeah, Kalima says she can't help you. You're too toxic. You're too poisonous. Okay. Clarify, somebody's calling out to Ganesh. Yeah. The illusions have been shattered. These people are about to mess around and find out. It's unfortunate. I would not channel these stories. Believe it or not, I really do feel bad for people like this. Yeah, because I can see all the outcomes. That's a gift that I have. I can see all sides. That's a gift. I can see where their life was supposed to go, and I can also see where they messed up and where they refused to see themselves. This is what happens when you see people that are jealous of other people. Jealousy is a horrible thing. If you feel like you're having jealous tendencies, pray about that. Fast over it. Ask God to remove it from you. Like, damn, I don't know why I feel angry about this person, or why am I mad that they're shining? Like, deal with yourself, deal with your heart, ask for deliverance. But no, somebody feels like you just don't deserve something. Why? Because they don't feel deserving. They feel like you think you're perfect. Why? Because they feel insecure by your empowerment. How dare you stand up here and be confident and you act like you didn't have to go through anything? We should not be having to share our sad ass stories to get acceptance from people who feel insecure about what it is that they got going on in life. People like, oh, you act like you ain't been through nothing. Just because we don't trauma bond and we're not going into relationships like, yeah, I went through this. Yeah, I went through that. Why do they want you to share your trauma? Because they weaponize it. That's why. That's how the devil finds a point of contact. Major narcissist energy, big sociopathic energy, and even Western medicine by way of medical diagnosis has to deem narcissists and sociopaths as people who are under demonic possession. You got a lot of psychologists coming into the spiritual community. We'll talk about it later in the superstars. We have real conversations. If you've not gotten your membership over there and you're ready to go to the next level, make an investment. It'll come back to you times 10. It's a small investment. I think it's like $1.55 a day. Okay. But we talk about real things over there. Those readings are meant to help. That is my intention. That is my agreement with the divine. We all have contracts that need to be fulfilled. Okay. But when you are karmically debt free, the only thing that's happening when somebody tries to attack us at this level is the score gets settled. Like the divine comes in and is like, I'm the real referee. Yeah, I just heard blow the whistle. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. It's a workplace situation. These are people that do the same thing as you, that don't do it like how you do, but you're highly qualified. You ever seen a position where you're overqualified for something and then you get promoted, right? You mastered that level. They're like, oh, you're really overqualified for the position. Yeah. And then you master that level and you're like, well, and most high guys like, okay, I'm going to take you from being a clerk to a supervisor. And then you end up owning the company and they're like, well, I don't like this person. Well, they can do that all day long. That's not going to stop your connection to source. And they can't plug into you in order to gain what it is that you have. What are they trying to plug into? Pure love. What is it that they want? They want to feel good. They want to feel happy. They want to feel that joy. It's like a drug. It makes them high. But why are they trying to take somebody else's joy? What happened to their joy? Where's their souls at? Everybody's born with the divine spark. Where did you lose your way? Because I'm telling you, I've seen stories like this play out, y'all. I didn't just show up here on YouTube. I was on this walk 20 years before. Well, really all my life, but I was on this walk 20 years. Just imagine the Most High God giving you a vision 20 years ago. You having dreams that you're talking to people, millions of people, and then it doesn't come to pass for 20 years. Now, it might have taken me 20 minutes, but I took the hard road. I'm so glad I took the rocky road because I was able to see the dark side and walk through it as the Most High God guided me. The Most High God was always perfect in the catastrophe. There was always a solution, never really any problems. Where somebody could have tried to present a problem. So 20 years of what I've seen in the spiritual community, oh man, I've seen people lose their lives. I've seen people lose a lot of money. I've seen practitioners work other practitioners. I've seen people initiate people into groups and they think that they're a part of the group and, they think that they're doing whatever they're being called to do, but their ancestors messed up right here. Their ancestors weren't able to pass this level. And so because you've passed this level, chosen one, they feel like you got the secrets. We're all going to benefit. All we got to do is bind ourselves to collective. But the thing about toxic and negative energies to this source energy, they just burn away. You're doing something new up under the sun. They don't like it. You're doing something that your ancestors have never done, collective. And this is really what is going on. I just heard it's a game changer. It's a plot twist. Yeah, spoiler alert. Somebody's trying to figure out how it's going to play out. Well, I'm telling you what I've seen before I got here, 20 years. I'm telling you what I've seen. I have very good friends all over the world, y'all. I really do. They've shown me some things, they've taught me some things. I've seen people in very unfortunate spiritual situations, some of the hardest situations. And I'm here to tell you that no matter what people are telling you, no matter what they're telling you, the only way is through source. That crown represents Christ consciousness, consciously aware, activated to be the best version of yourself. You are somebody that now remembers. Because the number one attack is people trying to siphon your knowledge so that you don't remember who you are. They want your story to stop here. But in fact, there is a chapter that's still being written. And there's no way for them to tap into it because that's not their business. That's between you and the creator. So for them, your story has yet to be written. It can't be unwritten because this is as far as their ancestors went. And their ancestors thought they were successful, but they spent the block and did the same thing up under the sun. So they thought they were going to tag along. Clarify, they wanted to prepare a table for you. Watch them all stand in line to get a slice of divine pie. They were supposed to take that pentacle, your spiritual gift, and slice it and dice it, and everybody was going to eat. And they were all promised by way of this contract that they're bound to that, oh, you're going to have money, you're going to look younger, you're going to da 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 da, your bloodline's going to die, you're blah, 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 blah. This is a lie. These are intellectual thieves. They have no creativity. When you go trying to steal somebody else's ideas, where's your creativity? I want her beauty. Where's your beauty? I want his gifts. Where are your gifts? Like, you should be negotiating with source and the universe to get what rightfully belongs to you. But first, you got to do the work. And that's the part they don't want to do. Sometimes they got to lose everything that's attached to those contracts. And they don't want to be poor, and they don't want to be sick, and they don't want to die, and they don't want to cry, and they don't want to be humiliated in the presence of the creator because they're too concerned about what other people are going to think. Sometimes you got to walk away. Sometimes you got to live in a studio apartment till you can get to the 5 and 4 bedroom. And when you get to the 5-4 bedroom home that you think is going to be your forever home, you realize, damn, somebody got to clean this. I'm telling you, don't put your happiness on layaway for things that you want to get temporarily. That's law. I'm telling you what I know, not what I think. Yeah. And we got more gifts coming in. Thank you, Creator. Something about obedience. This is the message. Remember to take what resonates. I will be back with more readings. If for whatever reason this was able to help you, I'm really glad about that. Pay it forward. Like, love, share, comment respectfully down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, peace be with you.